What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Healthy Living Scottsdale Podcast. I am your host, Coach Adam. We have Director Jolie in the stew today. Just the two of us doing this episode on stretch therapy versus massage. Our stretch therapy service that we offer here at Legacy is taken off the ground here. So we're just going to kind of go over some differences between stretch and massage. So you get a lot of questions on it while people are on the table, actually, and we're just talking about things, muscle groups, stretches, what we're doing. So we're just going to kind of specify the differences and, what you probably really need. And but before we get into that, member of the week for this week is going to be Chelsea Doherty. She just got promoted to what we would call a level 3 member here at Legacy. I'd say probably maybe 10%-ish of our members, 10 to 12%-ish are these level 3 members, which basically we have additional work for them, like power kind of exercises and work before they get into the rest of, or the main bulk of their workout. So she got a little promotion from a level 2 to a level 3 last week, just in time for our strength phase. She's really consistent.
Super consistent.
She's busy.
Yeah, busy. Always makes time for her workouts, always in just like an upbeat mood, and is always, I love it when people are surprised at how much they can lift, right? And she's a fun one who it's like you just, put a heavier set of dumbbells or just put a little more weight on the bar, and she's like, I can't believe that I'm doing this. And it's like, yeah, you're
like sitting there like, why didn't you do this like 2 weeks ago? Like, you're a lot stronger than you think. But I think she's excited. She said she was excited to get into like new kind of movements that the level 3 kind of offers and some power stuff. So nice work, Chelsea. Can't wait to work level 3 with you on the floor. All right, so for the topic, stretch therapy versus massage. So the confusion between the two, a lot of people think that they're similar or kind of the same thing. You see the massage table and you come in here, you're coming in for a stretch, but it also looks like a massage table. What's going on? We're going to break down which one and like when you kind of want to use each one, but really what stretch therapy can do a lot better for you. As far as massage, so you want to get into the specifics about like maybe what?
I think I think first things first, people always come in here, right? Especially in the strength phase or in a phase where we're just heavy into the progressive overload, and they're like, I just feel so tight, I feel so stiff, I just feel like I need a massage. Right. And it's actually okay, like pinpoint where you're feeling it or what's going on here. And a lot of people just think like, oh, that's cool. Stretch therapy. What is that? And then they think like, oh, I need a massage. It's kind of like, I don't want to say the easy way out, but it's almost okay. It's the lowest hanging fruit. It's what most people know. Right. And so
and they know it's very passive. Like they know they just got to like get in there, basically lay down and do nothing.
Yeah, for a massage, which is effectively kind of almost what they have to do here for a stretch therapy session in a way, right? A little bit. But I think with just some of the there's benefits to massage, there's benefits to stretch, right? We're not bashing one or the other, but in terms of really help with massage, we're looking at like easing muscle tension, right? Which I think is a big part of why people are just automatically going to, well, I just need a massage, right? Like that's going to fix all my problems. But 9 times out of 10, you're going to feel stiff or even more sore after the massage. Like give it a day or two.
It's a temporary fix. It's it's a here and now. Like this is going to help me relax this like perceived tension that I have. But what is it going to kind of do for you as far as in the long term, or maybe affecting your training positively? So I think, muscle tension being reduced is a benefit to massage. It's short-term pain relief or like kind of just stress reduction if you're feeling like you need like a reset more physiologically. I feel like almost has benefits that way.
Relaxation, relax the nervous system.
Yeah.
There's definitely benefits to that for long term.
Yes. So, and it's good for acute soreness. Maybe your shoulders are sore or something like that from, I don't know, shrugs or whatever you did the day before. It'll help short term. But the limitation that massage has is it doesn't teach your body how to control and acquire new ranges of motion and mobility, which is really the difference in how stretch therapy can influence or better your training, basically. So what stretch is it's assisted stretching. Basically, the client / member is pretty much passive, but there is breathing that we ask them to do, like timely breathing that will assist with stretches that we are performing on them. And then actually have started to incorporate a couple recently where the member is having to rotate somewhat themselves, but basically helping them into a range of motion or into kind of a new mobility that they haven't had before. So instead of completely checking out of a session like you kind of would in a massage, you just kind of peacefully lay there, you're a little bit more engaged, but still a sense of relaxation feels great. Like we've stretched each other, stretched the team, like we stretch each other all the time because it is like a nice reset and it's calming.
Right. And it's movement based, right? And so it's yes, you come in and it's definitely relaxing to come in and get a stretch session and you feel awesome after, but we're focusing, it's more on the movement and your mobility, whereas with massage it is just that soft tissue where it's more pressure. And so with the stretch therapy, there's so much that like we're guiding you towards like just, I don't know, how would you say it? Guiding you towards like a greater range of motion. We're making sure like we're able to see even more asymmetries, or like when we're testing just, rotation of the hips, of the knees, like we're able to see more things.
Yeah, because there's not always time for it in the training session, right? Like we know people like the back of our hand, right? We know these people really well. We know what they're good at, bad at, mobility wise and all this stuff, but there isn't always necessarily time or situations to work on those kinds of things in a training session where like the strength training is really the priority. So this is a good opportunity for people to, like you're saying, we'll be able to point out these asymmetries or work on like some joint health kind of things and just kind of bring a new attention or focus to like certain areas on people. So I think it improves, range of motion if you're pretty consistent with it, at a lot of the different joints that, maybe you hadn't realized before. And just having like that, a person stretch you actively, you can get into positions that, you probably wouldn't be able to do on your own. So being kind of ready for whatever is like a funny way to say it. Like when it comes to being on the floor, there aren't going to be necessarily as many surprises or movements that maybe your body hasn't seen if you're able to be consistent with stretch and see those kind of different planes of motion. Joint positioning and control, it's going to help with, and we see it a lot with some of the people that have less mobility or range of motion here in stretch, is there's a lot of muscle guarding that happens.
Oh yeah. Which is where we also guide you to breathe and things like that to help you relax into it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where you can muscle guard pretty easily when you're lifting out on the floor, right? You can subconsciously compensate or even consciously compensate to try to prevent something from getting worse or whatever it might be. But being in that kind of relaxed, passive position, we're able to get muscle groups or reduce the kind of protection that you might have and actually show your body, hey, look, you can actually get here if you're just, breathing correctly, or if you move at this angle and not down here at this angle. So I think those are good benefits. It's going to transfer to your training directly. And then like you had just said a couple minutes ago, that it's movement based and not a tissue based essentially recovery.
Right.
Focus.
Like if you guys think about it of like if you have a knot, right? That's the most common way of putting it. You have a knot in your shoulder. Okay, we can, use pressure to like relieve that knot, but what's going to happen is your body's going to go right back to that tension spot because we haven't worked on your range of motion, moving your joints around, actually assessing what's, kind of what's going on. But then if we're looking at stretch therapy, it's okay, we're kind of teaching that knot how to come undone, and we're actually working around that knot to not become as tense. Would you agree with that kind of weird analogy there?
No, I mean it's accurate. I think it's you become more aware of it. I think another way that this can translate into the training as well is it helps, and we've actually had a podcast on this before, it helps your warm-up be a lot more efficient, because it sounds weird, but like when you're here and you're getting stretched on the table, there's a lot of discussion back and forth between whoever's, whatever staff member might be stretching you, and then the member themselves on like what we are addressing. And it's educational, definitely. So
For sure.
what you can learn here just by getting stretched and feeling like with muscle groups that we're talking about, and like, oh, that's what that feels like when it's activated. That's, it can transfer to your warm up and make that a lot more efficient and actually like have good quality. And that's, of course, leads to your injury prevention, reduction, kind of stuff like that. And then just being able to essentially train harder and train better, safer.
Right. Like it's increasing your awareness. So your awareness of your own end range of things. And, I think so many people so often get on the stretch table and they're thinking, oh, I don't like that. This is my end range. I can't go anymore. And then we're able to actually show, okay, no, there's a difference between, like, there's a difference in obviously pain scale. And then there's a difference between a muscle stretching and us going in there rather than like something being tense and tight and not being able to stretch at all. So
Right.
Giving that sense of awareness, I think, is huge when it translates into workouts.
Yeah, it's going to support your performance when you get into the workout itself. And it's not just going to give you this kind of perceived comfort level of, oh, I walk out of a massage and like I'm feeling relaxed and everything, but it could be as soon as like later that night and you're, subconsciously your traps are up high by your ears again, and then you're back like right in the same situation that you were just in. So I think we talked about it a little bit at the beginning. Not going to bash one or the other, but you want to choose massage for, rundown, needing relaxation. It's a temporary relief, muscle tissue, very acute, targeted areas for soreness. But you should be choosing stretch if you're somehow feeling restricted due to your range of mobility or range of motion, overall mobility. If you're feeling like your lifts are off, maybe you're not correctly recovering and getting like the correct kind of stretches and things like that. And then you want these kinds of changes that you can have during stretch therapy to last long term and not just be something that you're having to deal with, again, the next, like some people get like 2 massages a week.
Yeah.
It's like
the stretches and like stretching feels great. You got like, I mean, I know you all listening, like, what it feels like to warm up and you're like, okay, like feel ready for my workout, like maybe standing a little taller, moving a little easier. You feel very similarly post stretch, and it's just like, oh wow, gosh, like I feel looser, I feel taller. Like it's funny when people say that, but it's so true, because you notice like a sense of ease in your body and things like that. So
yeah. I've gotten questions too about it, like when should I be scheduling a stretch? Because like here we offer it the majority of the day. People like to kind of do it in and around the time that they're planning to have their workout happen anyways. So it's like, do I come in the half an hour prior to my workout? Do I do it post workout? There are benefits to both. I think you could look at it, if you were going to do it as a pre-workout situation, it would be kind of like a primer or something that you could use as a part of your warm-up, but you still want to go out and do something dynamic where you're having to actively move yourself and like perform exercises without the assistance of somebody else doing it for you. But it does help with muscle activation, blood circulation to get things going, and that same blood circulation can benefit you on the recovery side. So like the post-workout, you're done with your workout, you come in, you schedule a stretch, and like we're promoting the circulation to those muscle groups you were just working. We can hit possibly even better end ranges or ranges of motion, since you've already been working out for 45 to 60 minutes. It's like your body's warm, so like let's see what we got kind of thing, and we can get into it then. So it has benefits pre and post workout, which makes it flexible, and you can kind of get it in at any time.
And then some people will come in on a rest day and they'll use it like as an active recovery day. And so one isn't better than the other. Like you fit your stretch in when you can ultimately, but some people love it pre-workout, post-workout, and then we have our people who come in that extra day a week just for their stretch.
Yeah, and they're not even working out.
Yeah.
They just it's like that feeling when you feel like you want to move.
Right.
You want to move, but it's like, oh, I've done like 3 strength training days in a row. Should probably take today off as like a rest day, recovery, but you still want to be, you still want to move your joints and things like that, and not just be completely, sedentary. So that's another way that people go about it. So if you're training hard and feeling like you're limited in muscle groups or mobility, stretch therapy is probably kind of a missing link for you, or something that you may want to look into. It's not necessarily more stretching or getting the other route would be like getting more massages. It's a little bit more about consistency, quality of the stretch, understanding and like educating and knowing what you're trying to address, and it should translate really well to your training.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a lot of times for stretch on our schedule, morning, now afternoon, and even like into the evening hours, guys. So if you have questions about how to schedule stretch, just ask your coach. Like we're ready for you. Yep.
Great thing to do, kind of like one-stop shop situation here at Legacy. You can get your recovery, you can get your workout in. So don't be afraid to ask your coaches, and we'll see you in the stretch room. Have a great week.
Thank you so much for listening to the Healthy Living Scottsdale podcast. Do you have a question that you'd like for us to answer live on the podcast? If so, all you need to do is head over to the Apple Podcast app on your iPhone and do 3 simple things. First, leave us a rating and review telling me what you think of the podcast. In that review, ask anything you want related to health, fitness, or nutrition. And if you want a shout out, leave us your Instagram handle or name. That's all you have to do. Then listen to hear your questions answered live on the next Q&A episode.